of yesteryear. Now we're on the first day of Hanukkah. That's 25th Kislev. Naturally in Hebrew, we call it Chav Hei Kislev. Marks the Hebrew that spent a long time of his life in India. Rabbi Nehemiah Mota Z'tl now was born in the English year 1555 and passed away on the 20th of December in English year 1620. He was approximately 65 years of age at the time when he passed away. He was a famous poet, singer, composer in of itself. He would be the great rabbi of the Jewish community in Bekot'in. Very, very prominent position this was in of itself. And he was also considered one of the great rabbis also of his generation. He was also a great Kabbalist, and he would spend many years of his life in Hodu, in India, in of itself, respectively. Very well, we've mentioned about that. I spent a significant time period in India. Most famously, he was arguably considered as one of the greatest religious authorities ever from the Bekot'in Jewish community in of itself. Let's explore some of the highlights of the great rabbi's life. Now, it's actually interesting. As we said before, he was born in English year 1555, which is very interesting enough. And it's actually interesting. He came from great heritage in himself. Now, we mentioned about the great rabbis. I believe there's different ways of pronouncing his name. Interesting enough, I think some people will pronounce this as נחמיה instead of נחmia, but I think because of the K and the Hey, as we say in English, it was difficult for the population in Bekot'in to actually pronounce that specific way. They were calling it נחmיה, so excluding that. And I believe the name Mota is also interesting. I think it actually means old man, and I think in old language himself, maybe it was like some sort of a nickname or some sort of name that stuck to his name in of itself. But in of itself, he was one of the great rabbis in Indian Jewish history, without a doubt. It's actually interesting to say that he actually, according to one legend, it might have been that he actually came from Yemen, from Teman, to actually teach Torah, to actually come to Bekot'in and to really strengthen within regards to Kabbalah and L'lamed Torah b'niglav nistar, the hidden depths of the Torah. And he was accepted by the Bekot'in community, Jewish community in himself, at an incredible rate by and made a massive impact. There's various different traditions that maybe it could be that he actually fled to India because there was a decree that the Jews in Yemen should reduce their Torah study, according to one source, and him being immersed in Torah throughout the day, that would have been a problem to actually stay in Yemen. And but because of these decrees, Rabbi Nehemiah decided to flee to Bekot'in and reported over. Wherefore, there was let's just say in himself, there was a thriving Jewish community for many years. And I think it actually had ties with Yemenite Jewry. That's why he actually ended up coming there. There's different legends or stories about how he actually reached Bekot'in in itself, that with regards to merchants and ships that actually came from Yemen to India, how he actually, but after his arrival actually reported over into Bekot'in in of itself, the leaders of the Jewish community realized that he was a man with huge amounts of knowledge, a great stature in Torah and in Halacha, and they accepted him as their rabbi, and he agreed also to serve as community's rabbis. And he actually realized the greatness of the Bekot'in Jews in of itself, that they were rich in Torah, in Mishnah, in Talmud, in various Kabbalah and Poskim in of itself. That's what's reported over. They actually, so that's interesting. Now, he passed away, as we said before, on the first day of Hanukkah, in English year 1620. This was happened to be. And he was buried in the Jewish cemetery in Bekot'in. They say that he had like a magnificent decorated tombstone over there, and I think it had like most incredible designs. It's reported over. I think on the side of this tombstone in itself, there's a candle standing there, and there's different. It was used. It's used still as a pilgrimage in modern day. Has to be pointed out. It's actually got engraved, I believe, on the matzeva in of itself. I'll say Noach nefesh shel hamukubal mufusam sabak tisha asher shvat or torato zorech b'kol tefotzot hachacham hashalem hachasid lo וכמשורר נחמיה, and so on. It gives more text with regards to the matzeva, paying him like the highest, greatest honor. What a great rabbi in of itself, and very interesting enough. They say that for several centuries, this has been used as a place of Jewish worship where people come and daven there at the kever of his. There'll be, especially on his Hilula in of itself. I believe on the day of his Hilula, it's on the first day of Hanukkah. Naturally, the members of the B'Koc'in community still hold, let's say, a Sudat mitzvah in his memory because of the Hilula. During the meal of itself, Sudat mitzvah, they will sing various different piyutim that he had actually composed and study various different texts, textual information and Kabbalah. Also, it's reported over now. Also, interesting enough, there was memoriams actually commemorating him, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I believe there's a synagogue called the נחmיה in the Moshav Givat Koach. Interesting enough, the Givat Koach, I think it's in the center part of Israel, and I think it's near if I'm not mistaken, could be quite near Modi'in, but there's a synagogue named after him, and I think there's actually a street in the city of Rishon LeZion also that is actually named after in commemoration within regards to him, because he's arguably one of the greatest Indian rabbis, let's just say himself, or Indian rabbis in of itself to have actually in the world period in of itself. And because of his greatness, many people named their children, especially from B'Koc'in and in India, after him. The name Nehemia is very, very common as a first or middle name in of itself, in memory, let's just say, of the great Chacham in of itself. So please don't forget to light candles in this memory. His Hilula is the 25th Kislev, the first day of Hanukkah. Now, friends, we're a community here. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. We've covered more than 500 great rabbis. If you happen to be related to any of these great rabbis, please send me an email. I would love to learn more. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you feel other people will be interested, share the videos to the other people. So wishing you well, a Hanukkah Sameach, because I'm recording this during the time period of the first night of Hanukkah, and blessings from Israel.